Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had the opportunity to listen to the words of that song because that is the purpose of tonight's call. So that song was strategically selected for a reason, and I hope you all got a chance to really absorb what was going in your ears. But if not, you're about to receive it in another form here in a few. So my name is Jabri Clemens. Like you all know, tonight we have a very special guest speaker tonight. This individual is not a stranger to us. She has led many calls for us throughout the course of our Zoom meetings, but she hails from the Phoenix market. She is one of our top leaders. Right now has over 100 personal customer points. This lady, in addition to doing this business, she's in the healthcare industry. And we all know that right now, that field is extremely demanding, which means that her time is very little. However, she is still putting in work outside of her traditional business to do this business, in addition to being a mother of 2 kids and a wife. So she is extremely busy, yet she has the grit to do what it takes to succeed in life. So what I want to do at this point is bring up our speaker, Miss Magaly Castro. Are you there, ma'am?
I am. Can you see my video?
No, ma'am, we cannot.
I'm not. Are you able to show it? I'm not able to click on it. There we go. Whoops.
There you go.
Did you get it? Okay.
Yep.
Can you see me?
Yes, you're on.
Sorry, guys. I think I was having a little bit of trouble here. So thank you so much, Mr. Clemens. I truly appreciate everything that you do. I know that I have so much gratitude for all your help. I've become more of a leader thanks to all of your training, your coaching, and everything that you do behind the scenes, the music, the slides, everything. I'm really, really thankful and grateful for your leadership as well. So, and thank you everyone for joining us. I know this Sunday evening is gorgeous outside, at least here in Arizona. You guys could definitely be anywhere, but you chose to be here. So I hope that I'm able to go ahead and at least give you a little bit of information or something that you can take away with. So real briefly, I was born and raised in Nogales, which is a small little border town about 3 hours south of here of Phoenix. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, and I have a pretty traditional upbringing. My father is a retired customs and immigration agent and an Army veteran. My mother's a stay-at-home mom until my father got deployed to Saudi Arabia. And so she really didn't work up until then. Once she started working, that's when she started to learn how the 9 to 5, having a job. And she did end up working part-time now she's a retired beautician. So growing up, all I ever knew was basically I was taught to go to school, get good grades, work hard so that I can go ahead and retire and become debt free. That was really my father's biggest lesson that he wanted us to take. And so that's exactly what he did. He ended up working so many hours. I mean, it's a government job. He used to work 24/7. I used to see him work around the clock tirelessly. And while he was able to accomplish his goal, he now lives debt free, doesn't necessarily worry about money. But it's really sad to see that they didn't even really live a life. Like they just worked pretty much to give us a living and didn't really have anything really they didn't really travel the world or do anything. So that's what I thought I was doing up until ACN found me. I had no idea. I obviously had dreams, but there wasn't really anything about dreaming big or anything like that. So when I was introduced to ACN, my mind just kind of went ballistic and I was a little blown away by the possibilities and anything that could happen. So I thought I was doing well for myself. I went to school, got a bachelor's, got a master's, and everything just kind of blew up when I found ACN. I chose to talk to you guys about grit and about the importance of this because this is what I feel is going to help us all to be successful, not only in our businesses, but also in life. It's what's been ringing in my ears. We've heard Mr. Thomas all the time, Miss Natasha talking about perseverance, even Mr. Baker, I think, Mr. Clemens the other day about feeding your focus. And I think it all really ties in together. So I really wanted to share the information and everything that I've kind of been learning about this. Before I dive into the information, I'd like for you guys to go ahead and take a quick assessment. Mr. Bree Clemens is going to go ahead and share a link on the screen. You guys are more than welcome to do it through your phone. It's really a quick 10 question assessment, and it should only take no longer than a couple seconds to answer the questions. Keep in mind, this is just, it's a useful prompt for self-reflection. So be honest with yourselves. You don't have to share the results or anything. Go ahead and just take it so that you can self-reflect on where you're at. If you see on the screen there, you're going to be able to see the link, and I'll go ahead and give you guys a couple minutes to complete that.
Let freedom ring. We all have a dream.
All right.
If you believe it, you can achieve it.
All right. You guys mostly about done? Miss Brewer, Mr. Timothy, are you guys good?
Miss
Perfect.
Magaly,
Yes.
you ready now? You want to give them like 30 more seconds and I'll play some music while we wait.
You got it.
Okay.
It only takes one thing. Grit. Practice your passion. Grit. With perseverance. Do what you love. Never give up. That's it. You have grit. You have grit. My talent has my effort equals my skill. Grit. My skill times my effort equals my achievement. Do what you love. Never give up. That's it. You have grit. Readers, read. Don't stop. Writers, write. Keep it going. Teachers, teach. Seekers, seek. Future so bright. Spotlight. Do what you love what you do. Don't stop. Do what you love what you do. Don't stop. Do what what you love what you do. Do what you love what you do. Do what you love what you do. You found your passion found you. Grit. Practice your passion. Grit. With perseverance. Do what you love. Never give up. Never give up. That's it. That's it. That's it. You have it. You have grit. My talent has my effort equals my skill. Grit. My skill times my effort equals my achievement. Do what you love. Do what you love. Never give up. Never give up. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
All right, I hope everyone had an opportunity to complete that. So if you did it through your phone, you may have gotten a response right away. If you did it through the computer, maybe it did pop up an answer. So basically there's a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being not gritty at all and 5 being extremely gritty. So I personally feel that there's no perfection. So if you scored a 5, there's still room for improvement regardless. So there's always a lot to learn. And if you've ever been looking for the secret to success, you can thank Miss Angela Duckworth in her book. If you can see it, this is the book Grit that she shows, where she talks about this. Basically what she did is she studied children. There you go, Mr. Clemens has it there. So she basically studied children and adults in different settings to better understand why people are successful. And in a nutshell, her conclusion, it boiled down to grit. So let's go ahead and define that. Grit is the strength of character, and it's basically comprised of passion and perseverance for long-term goals. So as you know, ACN is not get rich quick. You're not going to make money off the bat, of course, through bonuses, but it's not something building from overnight. It's something that's going to take long-term vision. This is also known as mental toughness. And so this is basically sticking with your future goals day in and day out. You can't just stick to a goal for a couple weeks and be able to just accomplish it. You have to do this day in, day out, basically for the rest of your life as far as the successful ladder that you want to get. Mr. Thomas did not quit right away either. He continues, even though he's reached the pinnacle of our company, he continues to do this day in and day out. He's a gritty man, if you ask me. So it's also working really, really hard to make your future your reality. This was, again, as I mentioned to you before, I didn't really have that vision so far out until I got introduced to ACN. So this one was a big one for me. It's living life like a marathon and not a sprint. There's 3 things that I want to go ahead and cover with you about being able to build that mental toughness. The first one that, for those of you that are taking notes, which should be all of you, go ahead and define what that looks like for you. Define what grit or what that mental toughness looks for you. Is it learning how to present the business? Is it learning how to read the slides that we have? How to be able to present that? Is it talking to people about ACN? Do you freeze up when you go talk to people? I know sometimes that still happens to me. It's something that is constantly something that we're working on. Is it following up with someone after they said no to you? Is that what you consider to be something that could help build your mental toughness? I know I still struggle when someone tells me no. Sometimes I kind of bite my tongue and just, kind of have to get over it. Is it going out there and just doing it? Is it following up with someone after they've said no? Trying to get them as a customer? Do you find yourself stuck in that area? Many of us often quit things that we start too early and too often. We need to make sure that we are able to build that mental toughness so that we're able to go ahead and succeed with that. Whatever that looks like for you, make sure that you're clear about what you're after. Make sure that you have your why present there. Always remember your why. The second thing that will help with that mental toughness is building grit with small wins. And basically, mental toughness is like a muscle. And I think it was Mr. Julian Lewis who was talking about that. He said, practice is controlled failure. And so you have to continue to work your mind so that you can build that muscle there. Choose to reach out to that 11th person for that day. If your goal is 10, go for 11. If your goal is 3, go for 4, go for 5. Stretch yourself more. Mr. Thomas always teaches us to stretch ourselves a little more. He uses a little rubber band and stretches it out. This is something that he knows. Again, he's such a gritty man. He knows all of this. He has a lot of grit in this. One of the other things that I think more recently was throughout these certain times that I've really forced myself to do, choose to listen to a podcast, choose to listen to a training. We have plenty of training on our YouTube channel that you can listen to, as opposed to listening to music. Sometimes when we're feeling a little bit down, a little bit sad or frustrated, sometimes we think turning on the radio kind of relaxes us, but then a song comes on that reminds you of something negative or something sad, and it kind of weighs you down a little bit. Force yourself to listen to something motivational, something positive, something that's able to help feed your focus a little bit more, even when you don't want to. And then the third thing is build strong habits and stop depending on motivation. Grit is about building daily habits every single day that allow you to stick to a schedule and be able to overcome challenges and distractions. Our daily leadership calls that we have every single day, it's easy to go ahead and plug in and listen to them, but we need to actually be present in the moment. And I know that I found myself for a long time, secretly, I would sneak into these calls and I would listen to them on my drive or as I was working. But it wasn't until I actually started to sit down and take notes and be present that I started retaining the information more. So I think that's really one of the things that really stuck out as far as the challenges and the distractions and being able to take in the information. It's easy to be able to read a motivational quote, post it out on social media and get excited about it. But what are you doing to take action? What are you doing to practice that day in and day out, to apply that motivation? It's not enough to get excited and stay motivated. You want to make sure that you're able to incorporate that into your daily habits and your daily activities. Remember that mentally tough people don't have to be courageous. They don't have to be more talented. You don't have to be better looking. It's just being more consistent. You have to be consistent with everything that you do. Everything comes from our habits, and it's doing the things that we know we're supposed to be doing on a consistent basis. And I throw out, Mr. Thomas is such a prime example of this, because he keeps asking us every single week, why not you? So I keep asking myself, why not me? He pours into us every day and has, a lot of times I feel like he has more faith in us than we do in ourselves. And that really shouldn't be okay with us, but he's trying to tell us something, is basically what it is. So the importance of grit in ACN, I also want to go ahead and talk about 5 different characteristics that Ms. Duckworth talks about in her book. Natasha, I think, was touching about fear last week as well. Courage is the number one thing. Everyone has fear. We need to be able to find the courage to push ourselves even further, to understand the lessons that failure is teaching us. And the second one is conscientiousness. We have to be intentional with our actions. We must be able to go ahead and be intentional with our actions. What is it that we want to accomplish at the end? Did we reach that goal? The third one is endurance. Have a long-term vision. How many times do we not hear we need to make sure that we're able to endure all of that we go through, be able to just continue and keep on going, keep on keeping going. I think that's what the saying is. And then be resilient. Be resilient. If you fall down 7 times, learn how to get up 8. Get up stronger. You can only fall. There's no other way to go but up from there. And then I want you also to understand excellence. Excellence does not equal perfection. The other day we were watching that video from, I think it's Facing the Giants, where you can do your blind best. Sometimes you think that you're doing your best, but you don't realize that there's more potential in you. And that's what's described as excellence. Just go ahead and continue to do your very best, to the best of your ability. So The other thing that I want to go ahead and touch on, sorry about that. All right. When I was reading about grit, I came across a very important concept. And this is an idea that came from a doctor at Stanford University. She really talks about the growth mindset. So if you're not where you want to be in life, if you're not where you want to be in your business right now, there's a solution for that. It's called growth mindset. I know that this is basically the belief that the ability to learn is not fixed. I know that Mr. Thomas is always talking about how we can go ahead and reach to that next position and how we can go ahead and get to that next level, and that all that it takes is effort. And that's basically what growth mindset is. It's talking about effort. You don't have to be talented to be successful. You don't have to have that that talent. You just have to put in the effort to be able to get to the next step. And so if you develop that growth mindset and you have faith in yourselves, you're able to go ahead and understand that failure is not a permanent condition. It's something that you will learn you will learn from those failures to be able to get stronger and to continue to go ahead and grow. You need to be willing to fail to be wrong. We need to be able to start all over again and learn from those lessons. A lot of times within our business, we give up so easily. We think that because our family member said no, or we're so adamant about going back to the same people to be able to support us or to be there for us, and they're not. And we get stuck on that. So we need to learn how to get unstuck with that. And then basically be okay with starting over with all the lessons that were taught. We need to learn how to be grittier is what my point is today. I don't know if this resonates with you guys. I don't know if it's something that you guys feel that needs to be worked on more, but it is, like I said, it's something that I really wanted to just share with you guys because of the fact that I feel like I don't do enough in this business. I listen to all these things. I able to gather all of this, but it really does take that passion and that perseverance to be able to get that grit and to be able to be stronger within ourselves. So I challenge you guys to go ahead and do some of these activities. Make sure that you are able to go ahead and put this to action. Do the do and be able to get gritty, basically. And then I want to go ahead and end it with a quote here. And this is not something new that you guys haven't heard. Mr. Clemens, are you able to read it? My screen is frozen and I can't see. Sorry, guys.
I don't know how to read. Yes, I can read it. It says, the only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is that I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. You might have more talent than me. You might be smarter than me. But if we get on a treadmill together, there are two things. One, you're getting off first, or two, I'm gonna die. It's really that simple. Will Smith.
And this, again, I was joking with Mr. Clemens and I said that he should put Mr. Thomas's face out there because he's always trying to challenge us to outwork him. I think we should take him up on that challenge and try and see how far we can get. I know that maybe we won't, maybe we will, who knows, but if we are able to go ahead and put our minds to it, get down to work, she's given us, like I said, she's given us the secret to be able to be successful. And it's a really good book. So anybody that really wants to go ahead and learn more about it, her study and her research is really good. With that, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Mr. Clemens, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, ma'am, you've done a fantastic job. The only thing I would do, if there's anyone on the call that does have a question, Please feel free to unmute, ask your question now. I know we do have several leaders on the call tonight, so if you have a question, please ask it now before we end this call. And Mr. Thomas has joined as well. So Mr. Thomas, do you have anything you want to say? I know you're preoccupied, but if you feel like unmuting and add anything to the call, please do.
All right, Magaly, I have a question. And first of all, you did amazing. So thank you so much for tonight's training. Now, my question is, it's also in the chat, but are there a couple of points from the book that you can give everyone to either develop grit or just a couple of things that would help people keep positive? What are some things in the book that you can give everyone?
Yes, absolutely. I kind of fall back to the daily habits. It's like we continue to hear it. You have to make sure that you set your schedule. You have to know what your schedule is. You have to be able to set those daily habits. It takes time to form those habits, but those are the only things that will allow you to overcome the challenges and the distractions that you get every single day. And then the consistency, building those daily habits, having that consistency, and finding what your passion is. Maybe it's not necessarily about the services that we have, but you do have a passion for helping people, right? So you want to focus not necessarily on trying to focus that, but how can you help that person get to that next step? So find out what your passion is and persevere from that. Be able to just go and continue to excel in that particular area. And one of the other biggest thing is just, you guys hear this all the time, but keeping your why in front of you. That is huge too. That is what's going to get you to that motivation.
Thank you. And then if you can you just please repeat 1 through 3 and 1 through 5 for everyone?
Yes, absolutely. So the 3 strong habits were to build the strong habits and stop depending on motivation. Okay, define what grit looks like for you, or what that mental toughness looks like for you. Build grit with small wins. And then the importance of the 5 characteristics for the importance of grit in ACN are courage, conscientiousness, endurance is the 3rd, resilience is the 4th, and excellence is the 5th. I also recommend that you revisit that assessment. Again, it's a self-reflection or where you see yourself as far as being gritty, as far as having that perseverance. So if you're able to go ahead and take a look at where you're at, where you rated yourself now, and after applying some of these things into your daily activities, reassess yourself again and see where you fall and see if you've improved. And of course, if you haven't improved, then there's definitely something that could be done differently. But the goal is to always continue to improve, always continue growing and applying everything that we've gone through. Does anybody else have any questions? Is there anything else that you guys would like to know?
Miss Castro, L. Thomas, I think you said it all. These five, I love the last five. All of this has been fantastic.
Thank you. There's a lot more to her research was really phenomenal. Honestly, I think I really enjoyed reading all about it. I just kind of touched on a little bit just for the purposes of time, but I really thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be able to share a little bit of that.
Well, because of all the perseverance and follow up and everything you talked about here, you deserved it because you are actually the example of these qualities, and that's why you're doing these calls, because you stepped up to the plate to do this. And not only that, I love the idea you took the time out to do your homework into in a great way of displaying the conversation as you did tonight. So thank you so much. Can we show her some love, everybody? Let's give her a round of applause. Come on, let's give her some love. Show her some love. Show her some love. Man, that was amazing. We'll have you back as doing more training. Like I say, it's your time to shine. And so many of you on here, like I said, preparing you to get up in front and start doing training as well as doing the 1 through 10. So thank you, 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 thank you. Let's show us a little bit more love, everybody. One more time. There we go. 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 Hey, Mr. Payon down there in Japan. Thank you so much, Miss Joyce Brewer, for being on the call tonight. Thank you all for showing us love. Miss Ismail, thank you so much. Tomorrow morning, our conversation will be Miss Ismail will be bringing it. And then on Tuesday, Mr. Julian Lewis will be back with us. And then on Wednesday, we have Mr. Shaquille Cooper on Wednesday. Lord have mercy. We got a power, man, and it starts tonight, right now, with Mrs. Castro. So thank you all so much. I'm going to put you back in the hands of Mr. Bree Clemens. Sir, back in your hand.
Hello, hello. Yes, like you said, nothing more for me to say. I think everyone has said what was needed to say. Thank you again, Ms. Magaly, for wonderful training. And as Mr. Thomas said, we look forward to hearing more and more from you. And with that being said, like he said, we'll see you all first thing in the morning. This call is over, yet don't let that be the end of your business tonight. Get a customer in, do some work. Just because we're off the call doesn't mean you need to quit working. So with that being said, thank you all, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.